Hey YouTube, it's the Frog Queen here, and I thought I'd try something a little bit different today. I'm actually going to do my very first comic book review that's on video. I have never done this before, so it'll be kind of interesting, I guess. I'm not sure about the whole camera angle. This is also new. My place is a disaster. I thought I would just stick with the couch, which is surrounded by comics and comics and more comics and previews. Yeah, and more comics. But today I actually just wanted to talk about one particular comic. This is actually done by one of my favorite comic book artists of all time, the great Shaky Kane. He's teamed up again for Cowboys and Insects. I almost said it wrong. Cowboys and Insects with the great David Hine once again. So this is a very tiny one-shot publication, and they would put this out with Floating World Comics from Portland. Let me just show you the box. As you can see, it's very tiny, but that's one of my favorite things about this comic, actually, is the different format that it's in. Modern comics, as we all know, come in like this size, standard format, and, quite different from the Silver Bronze Age. I'm not going to get into that stuff. I don't need to tell you people that. Anyway, clearly, size comparison can be completely different. It's like, doop, doop, derp. So, I guess the big question is, why do you know these guys' names? First of all, you know David Hine from so many different titles. He's been all over the place. He's written some stories for 2000 AD. He's written stories for a whack of Marvel titles, a whack of DC titles. He's written various Batman stories. He's written a lot of different Marvel titles, specifically X-Men, and of course, what matters most to me, he wrote Son of M, which was one of my favorite kind of spin-off X-Men miniseries ever. I fucking love that series. So, yeah, there you go. Oh, and you know what? He's even written like some Spawn. So he's kind of been everywhere. Now, how do you know Shaky Kane? Well, first of all, you might recognize him from my logo. That's right. I had actually asked Shaky Kane to draw my logo for me. I love his work, and I wanted a cute little cartoon frog wearing a cute little crown, and he did it for me. But really, Shaky Kane is a British writer and artist. He does a lot of psychedelic type comics, probably best known for his work in Judge Dredd 2000 AD, but he's also done work on Elephant Man. He's done work with amazing writers like Mark Millar and one of my personal favorites, Peter Milligan, when he was doing Judge Planet for Judge Dredd. And of course, both him and David Hine have worked together and created the cult classic called The Bulletproof Coffin. So, moving right on from that, let's get to the new comic. One of my favorite things about this as well is that it's made of this nice cardstock, so it's kind of got a firmness and not floppy like a floppy. I really wish these two could just continuously release shorts like this together. I would be thrilled. Shaky's work is reminiscent of a better time in comics when people used to use their hands and not copious amounts of computer programs. But don't get me wrong, I totally appreciate tons of digitally created comics, but there's something to be said about Shaky's process, which you can actually watch online. He's actually put out videos online that you can see him actually sitting there and drawing and doing things with his hands, not just a computer, but pen, paper, pencil, ink, all those things. So the story itself, of course, is awesome. Everyone knows by now that I'm vegan, and this story, to me, is so vegan. The story centers around the retold events of a man's childhood crush, but it also happens to center in a world which harvests giant insects for food and other commodities. The man explains that his family were ranchers while he was growing up. Giant ant ranchers, to be certain, and his first crush, his first kiss, was a gothy-looking young vegetarian. And that's the whole thing that he finds out and is distraught over. As somebody whose mother is dating a beef cattle farmer, I can totally sympathize with the young girl here and the young boy. However, I went the other route and decided I don't want to eat animals. I know that eating animals is wrong. However, the boy takes direction from his family, who explained that being a vegetarian goes against nature. And this part of the comic really touches on the appeal to nature fallacy, saying that, it's natural for humans to eat animals because we're animals and animals eat other animals. This is a fallacy. It's not true. The boy's family tells him that it's very corrupt thinking and, well, apparently, violence towards those who think differently is actually condoned in this kind of universe. And this is not far from reality, because violence towards people who are different than you is always okay. But really, I don't want to ruin this thing for you guys. That would be cruel. You're gonna love it. Please just check it out and see what you think. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know if you liked it, didn't like it. Let me know what you think of this very first review that I've ever done by video, because I wasn't really sure. You could always check my blog, thefrogqueen.com, to read all my previous reviews and very expansive collection of reviews and creator interviews. That is www.thefrogqueen.com. You could also reach it by typing in ieatart.com.